Okay, so today I'm going to show you how I memorize Romans 12, 1 through 2. Of course, using the memory palace. Today, good friends of mine, Jeff and Chiho, they gave me this Legacy Standard Bible. I don't know if you can see it, but it's very nice. So I memorized Romans 12, 1 and 2 using I think the NIV, because I memorized it pretty early, but today I'm going to do it with the LSB in honor of Jeff and Chio for getting me the Bible. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen as usual. I'm using the memory palace. If you don't know what that is, look at the links. Okay, so I kind of broke this up already for you. Not broke this up. So I have a picture. I just chose a picture that I took. And then, so this is a verse. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to this is probably good for beginners. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to break it up. So therefore I exhort you, and then brothers. So maybe I'll just put a little space in between what I'm going to, I don't like that. Okay, so anyways, I'm just going to do, therefore I exhort you, brothers, by the mercies of God, to present your bodies as a sacrifice, living and holy and pleasing to God. So I'll break that up just so that it looks a little easier. And so I guess I'm choosing all the comma areas to break it up. So what I'm going to choose is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So there's 9 phrases that I want to memorize using this room. Okay. So I'm going to choose 9 items in order so that, memory palace is about organization. In order so that so that I can memorize everything correctly. So I'm going to choose 9 items in this room. I always go from top to bottom if there's not enough like sections. So this picture, can you see this? I hope you can see. Okay, open this up a little bit. There we go. So I'm going to choose this picture frame area as 1, section 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the top of the bunk bed at 6, 7, this desk area under the bunk bed, 8, the couch, 9, the carpet. So these are the 9 locations that I'm going to put the phrases. Okay, so how do I remember? First of all, I need to remember this is Romans 12. So Roman for me is a Russell Crowe from Gladiator. Okay, and then 12, I use a major system. 12 is a tin, so maybe, and then 1 is a pencil. So I'll just remember, maybe I'll just imagine like the gladiator, basically Roman soldier gladiator, sitting on this couch, and he has a tin can with a pencil, and he's throwing it at this TV. That way, I just remember this whole room is Romans 12, 10, pencil 1. Oh, and then verse 2. And where verse 2 starts from, what I can do is 2 is a swan. That's a peg system. So where that starts, maybe I'll just put a swan here, like a swan image picture on this bunk bed to show me that's verse 2. Okay, so first thing I want you to do is, before you start memorizing this, watch the video, watch the YouTube link. That's Pastor Rocky's sermon. He did this a couple weeks ago. So just watch that first, and then you can know what this means. So it's better, you have to know what God is saying in these verses, because it makes no sense to memorize it if you don't know what God is saying. Right? So watch the YouTube link, and then go from there. Okay, so getting into it. All right, so therefore I exhort you, brothers. Right, so this one is a picture. Therefore I'm going to use a fork. Fork. So maybe there's a fork in this sticking into this in this picture frame. I exhort you. Exhort, the first thing that just came up is snorting, right? So therefore I exhort you, brothers. So maybe there's a fork, and then my brother is snorting. I don't know, maybe he's egg snorting. He's egg snorting, I just think of snort. and then he's snorting on the fork. He's just like kind of like that. And then that's my brother doing that. That's my brother doing it. So therefore, I exhort you, brothers. That's the image that I'm going to use on here to memorize that. By the mercies of God, by the mercy. So on this TV, maybe I see myself playing Mercy with God. Okay, the game Mercies with God. God for me is just a character, a Japanese cartoon character. He's wearing a gold clothes, so that's God. By the mercies of God. 2, present your bodies as a sacrifice. So right here, maybe I know there's a present in here, a gift, like a present. And then I open it up, and then there's bodies of a sack of fries. So sacrifice is sack of fries. So maybe there's I don't know, bodies, I don't know how to explain it, but bodies and a bunch of sacks of fries inside the gift. Okay, so that's the image I'm gonna think of. So therefore, I exhort you, brothers, by the mercies of God, to present your bodies as a sacrifice. All right, so that's here. Okay, next one, living holy and pleasing to God. That's this phrase right here. We're gonna put it in here, living. Maybe what is this, a bike helmet? I don't know. Maybe this bike helmet saved my life. So it's living, right? So I'm living because of this bike helmet. Holy, I'm gonna, just so that I know it's in order, let me just go down. Holy, so maybe this bag right here has a bunch of holes in it, okay? Holy, and then because there's a hole in it, I fall down and I'm pleasing to God. So pleasing, I just imagine a police singing or just singing to God. So I'm standing right here and I'm singing to God. So living, holy, and pleasing to God. Witch is a witch. So I always think of the bad witch from the Wizard of Oz. So witch is your spiritual service of worship. So service, I'll take maybe worship, I use as a warship, like a battleship. So maybe on top of here, like this looks like a witch is basically taking, there's tools in here trying to fix, service or worship. That's all I can think of right now. So there's toolbox here, and a witch is pulling tools out and trying to do service on a worship. Okay, which is your service, spiritual service of worship. Maybe I need to think of a word for spiritual. I just think of Sprite. Maybe there's a Sprite can here just to give me the image of spiritual. Okay. And then verse 2. So there's a swan here that reminds me that this is verse 2. And do not be conformed to this world. So I might do a little something different. And is an ant. Do not, donut. Be is a bee. Conformed is kind of like a uniform. I just think of uniform. So do not be conformed to this world. So I just imagine like an ant not trying to wear a uniform of this world. So maybe like a shape like the earth, like the world. Okay. And but be right here, that's the second phrase, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. But is a big but, be is a be, transform. So maybe I grew up with Transformers, so maybe transformer, by the renewing of your mind. So the bee transforms here. So a bee is in this box or something, it transforms into a new mind. Like you can think of a brain. I could use an actual landmine. I might imagine the bee transforming into a mind, or the bee in his head, he's transforming, and he's renewing his mind, something like that. That kind of image, right? And then sitting on the couch, so that is soda. Soda, you may approve. Approve, I always think of a approve stamp, like approve this. What the will of God is. Will of God, will is a well. So maybe I'll imagine a well, so that you may approve. So that is a soda. Soda, I approve what the will of God is. So maybe there's a well, like a well on this couch. I'm sitting here and I'm checking it out and I prove it. And maybe it's gold I could use gold for God as well. Maybe the well is gold, right? So that you may approve what the will of God is, okay? And then here, that which. So that is a hat, which. So maybe the bad witch has a hat, and then which is good, pleasing, and perfect. Oh, this might be easy, okay? So which is going to be the bad witch. I think it's the same as NIV or something, but which turns into the good witch of Wizard of Oz, right? And then she's singing. So she turns into the good witch, she sings, and I just maybe kind of imagine from the last time I memorized this, she's like singing at American Idols or something, right? So she's pleasing, and then she hits the note perfectly. So she does a perfect job. The judges go, that was perfect. All right. This might be the easiest part of this one. That which is good and pleasing and perfect. So let me review. So therefore, I exhort you, brothers, right? Therefore, I exhort you, brothers, by the mercies of God, to present yourself as, present your bodies as a sacrifice. And then here, I could even look at, let me just cover this. Bodies as a sacrifice, living, holy, and pleasing to God, which is your spiritual service of worship. Yeah, which is your spiritual service of worship. Verse 2, and do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind, so that you may approve what the will of God is, that which is good, pleasing, and perfect. Okay, so that's how I'm gonna memorize it. I figured I might use a different room, but I'm just gonna use this room. So first thing, I'm just gonna review. Just remember, this is phrase 9, 8. So I could say it backwards, right? So I'm not gonna do it, but you can practice by saying it backward. Say that which is good, pleasing, and perfect, so that you may approve what the will of God is, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Go backwards, okay? To just go for, and then if you have the Bible memory app, do that too, right? Whatever, write it down. I know there's I'm in a group, Bible memory goal group, that they write out the first words of each letter, or first letter of each word, okay? Or just writing the whole verse down. Just do whatever it takes to review. Review is important. You have to review and know what it's saying. So watch the service, the link. Okay. So yeah, one of the things that, one of the main points of Pastor Rocky's sermon is what is true worship, right? And he said it's the most natural response to who God is. So if you know who God is, then your natural response, that is true worship. And it's not, I grew up thinking worship was just singing songs during service. No, it's a lifestyle. You're living your whole life for Christ, for God, right? We're gonna have John MacArthur speaking at our church tomorrow, which is a good blessing. But Pastor Rocky every Sunday, every worship, he does a great job. I love his preaching. It's easy for me to understand. He preaches the word, but in honor of in honor of John MacArthur, preaching at our church tomorrow, he did a sermon on, of course, this, and he what is true worship. And I memorized this one. I don't memorize too much quotes from people because I want, focus on the Bible, but I really liked it because he said, true worship is any and every expression of obedience, praise, honor, and gratitude, offered to the true God by a regenerate soul who knows the truth about God and loves him. Okay, I'm pretty sure that's correct, but let that meditate for a while too. That's it's a great summary of what true worship is. So yeah, memorize Romans 12:1-2. I hope this helps, encourages you to study the Bible, memorize the Bible, pray, obey, and share the gospel. Okay, I like Pastor Rocky because he shares the gospel every time he preaches. I think he shares the gospel because he knows. So yeah, I hope this helps. And yeah, thank you very much.